And welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
And welcome to episode 229?
I know you're not asking me. I ain't even been here in 3 weeks.
Yeah, 229. I had to check just to make sure. Of course, Kathy is still out with us. We all send her our best, and hopefully she starts to feel better soon. I check in with Jim every day, make sure everything's going all right. She's sitting in bed, resting, and getting what she needs to get done. Episode 229. Today's episode is going to be about community building. Not only how to bring a community back up, how to make sure to do it correctly, how not to be a douche about it, and we're going to talk about some of the DnD news that came out this week because they had a big announcement this week. And I'll go over some of that. John's probably like, I don't remember, so I'll have to go off what Gonzo said.
I can only talk about 3 of those 4 points.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how not to be a douche about it.
Yeah. So
It's outside my skill set.
before we get through the business of the podcast, we want to thank Mini Masterworks, of course, for sponsoring us. You can use an awesome code, More Than Dice, MMW10, to get 10% off. Or you can also get that awesome paint shaker that all of us got. John's showing it off.
Yeah. Hiding behind Dommy here. Oh, nope, that's Alex.
And we also want to thank Parabellum Wargames, where you can play Conquest, where they have 2 versions of it. Conquest Last Army King, which is a regimental battle, or you can do the First Blood 2.0, which is their skirmish version of the game. And they will be at Warfare Weekend, so you can kind of catch up and check on them. We want to thank Turbo Dork. Next week, we will do our last Turbo Dork giveaway. And be another gift certificate for $50. Don't forget to check them out, especially if you like metallic paints and color shifting paints. They will also be at Warfare Weekend too.
Awesome.
And we got to thank Muse on Minis. For people that have been asking, Muse is redoing their webpage because Creaturecaster is now part of Muse. And they're rebuilding their podcast area. They also had a security breach. And so they had to fix that. Yeah, they had a redirect linking to like some pharmacy, site or whatever. And so they had to redo that. Yeah. But you can go check them out. Of course, we have a discount code for them. Anything you buy there, you can get 10% off. They have some really good Marvel stuff. They also have really good terrain for Warcaster and like any type of sci-fi type stuff. They got a really good set. And it's reasonably priced.
Also, they had a bunch of freaking counters, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. And then Midnight Heroes. Of course, Muse on Minis is going to be at Warfare Weekend. Big surprise. Yeah. Surprise, shocker.
What?
Yeah. Midnight Heroes, which is also great line of paints and also miniatures if you love chibi stuff. And has a small skirmish battle game coming out pretty soon. Going to be testing and showing that off at ReaperCon, which will be pretty soon. We also have a discount code for them, too. Big shocker, right?
Big shocker.
You can check them out. And they also will be at Warfare Weekend, too, which I really can't wait because a lot of people want to see them. Because, I buy a ton of stuff from you. It's going to be nice to see you. It's a partnership, Mose. CC is bought into Muse, and now they're, partnerships up together. So they'll be doing things together now, which is great because, Creaturecast is an incredible miniature company. These miniatures are amazing. Who doesn't like a 27 boobed, serpent lady that has like 6 arms that can kill you, type thing. But
I don't see that on my checklist, but okay.
they just make great miniatures, and also they're making all the miniatures for Judgment, which will be coming out pretty soon. 10, not 27. Oh, okay, sorry. 10 boobs, not 27 boobs.
He was being hyperbolic.
But also they're doing the Judgment models, and so Judgment will be there, and they'll have Judgment models ready for everybody. And so they're buying in, and I don't know the full logistics. I don't know all the details. I just know that they're working with each other and part of each other now. So it'd be great because that means Muse could print off, token sets for them or, different things that they need. I think I got everybody. Is that everybody?
I think that's everybody, but I mean, what do I know?
You've been gone for like 8 years, so I mean, it can be a problem.
Feels like I worked 8 years.
Yeah, I think that's everybody. Also, like I said, so if you're looking for our episodes, just look for in whatever RSS feed, look for More Than Dice, and you'll find us until Muse comes back up. Because I've actually started doing a Warcaster podcast with the War Budgie individual, John Smith.
I saw that.
Do it.
I saw that.
Yeah. John Smith is a very awesome guy. He makes really great. What's the best way to put it? What's the word I'm looking for?
I was going to say
fictional
music.
Stories.
John Smith, I know, does music.
Oh no. He does really good story stuff with the Warcaster miniatures and does games with it. And at Warfare Weekend, he's going to be running all the Warcaster events and doing the players get to determine the ending of his stuff.
Cool.
So they'll be playing at Warfare Weekend the ending of his story. Yeah, he's a filthy casual type thing.
That's the way to be.
Yeah. So he's a really nice guy. So we've been talking Warcaster stuff. So you get that also. But there's like 50 billion things. We've got 2 other War Machine Hordes podcasts underneath us now too. Boker Brawl. They're talking about stuff. Minority Report, of course, is still with us. And the Tried and True, which is the Delaware War Machine crowd, which is doing really good community stuff, by the way. They're doing the community stuff really well. I should have asked one of them to come on tonight, but
They're much more interesting than me.
But they've been doing some real stuff. They've been working the community just right, which I think is I'm going to bring up what they've been doing. And so listen to their stuff too. They're really good. So, do we have any shout outs this week?
I didn't have time to keep track.
I didn't.
When news got too depressing, I just closed it and said, "Fuck off! I'm going to do something else now."
I didn't notice any of them. If anybody does notice any, and we need to get
the last couple weeks have sort of blurred together, so I don't really know if it was which week it was.
Yeah, I didn't see anything this week. Doesn't mean it wasn't. So if we missed somebody, let us know. But we definitely will do a shout out to all of the people listening, everybody taking care of themselves, everybody watching out for others. We appreciate you no matter what. No matter where you listen and how you listen, we appreciate it. Let's get down to the stuff that everybody wants to know. This is like the hottest topic in the entire world. John, what are you drinking?
I have Dr. Pepper mixed with the new rum I bought, Bumbu rum. It's dark rum, very sort of vanilla-y, caramelly notes, and a good funk to it. If rum drinkers know what I mean by funk. So we'll see how it goes mixed. We'll talk about that in the media section, Cookie.
I am drinking Remy Martin cognac tonight. Just a little bit, not a lot. Kind of keeping it, on the down low a little bit, type thing. But for everybody out there, we appreciate you listening, no matter where you listen, how you listen. If you catch us live, or if you catch it on the audio or the video feed, because some people watch us on YouTube. So, cheers to you.
Cheers.
That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. How was yours?
Interesting. It was interesting. It's got a lot of flavors to unpack.
A lot of flavors in the back. Okay. So we're not going to go to the paint cam tonight because all I'm working on is dry brushing these little haystacks. You really don't want to see that. So we're not going to even go to the paint cam tonight because I'm just going to be squirting some yellow paint and this little thing, and then dry brushing these things. Big, awesome paint style tonight.
Are you gonna finish with like a bone white or something? I've seen that a lot. Researching things, they use that as the highest highlight a lot of times for a yellow.
Yeah, well, I've got one done, and it's just fine because, like I said, these are just going on the board. I mean, it's gonna be hard to see because they're small, and it's just they're just to denote tall grass on a terrain feature.
So you joke about the Captain Easy, but not everyone knows how to dry brush right.
Which we had to actually talk about that this week. We were talking about dry brushing, and I was like, "Ooh, this is a little too wet and a little too much paint." And so we had a quick dry brushing technique with Mizzy because
No shame in that.
no.
I mean, there's a lot of techniques you pick up that you may not know all the ins and outs of, but it's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've never done it and you don't know what you're talking about, and I say dry brush, you're gonna have to go like, "What's dry brush?" Ooh, tasty.
Was it?
It was.
Was it?
So let's get the D&D stuff out of the way. Wizard of the Coast had a big announcement. I skipped through all of the Magic the Gathering stuff. Don't care.
No, there's important Magic Gathering stuff.
What was it? I skipped through it.
They're having Commander decks, which is their casual quote unquote format for both 40K and for Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
So apologies to everyone who loves those two things, and you may end up buying Magic cards now. It's totally not my fault. Blame fucking Wizards of the Coast.
I saw something about Doctor Who, and I was like, oh, they must be making a...
I don't know why it took them so long to take every nerd's money.
Yeah. Type thing. But they did have a huge, big announcement about D&D itself. Right now, there's one D&D, which is, from my understanding, what I kind of listened to it a bit. It's kind of be like the end all be all of all D&D, maybe like a living document type thing.
Is it?
Yeah. We all kind of look like, really? Are you sure? But that's what they look like they're trying to do.
Yeah, they're trying to update the rules again. They're innovating again, which I shake my fucking head. Because for fuck's sake, really, guys. Okay. It's all just funny because I only see this through the veil of Twitter right now, since I can't really listen to a video as easily as I can read stuff on Twitter. Phone calls come in, you have to stop a video. Where the fuck were you? At one point last week, it took me 30 minutes to listen to a 3-minute song.
Been there, done that.
I see through Twitter, and it's a lot of people who are just like, they're already bitching about it. The rules ain't even like they're fucking in playtest. They're not just bitching about it rather than actually getting on the playtest, providing feedback. They're just bitching about it. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah,
Playtest available, and you can get in on it. Get in the playtest, provide feedback.
Correct, because you can actually download their starting stuff that they're doing right now, and you can start talking about it and start looking and give them feedback. If a company says give them feedback, even if you don't think they're going to look at it, do it anyway, because then you can say I said my piece.
Yep, and now it's on them.
Yeah.
You say nothing, it's on you. You said nothing.
Just like voting.
Off with that now.
So, from what I saw, and someone had mentioned that they're kind of moving towards like Pathfinder in a way. They're kind of taking up some of the good stuff from Pathfinder.
So, I actually heard some about that. And actually, everything they promoted that's new was actually in the playtest or at some point in D&D 5th edition. So, I'll say this like we do with movies and everything. Stop saying someone's stuff fucking stole from somebody who's taken mechanics from somebody. Fuck off with that. This shit happens independently. Everyone steals from each other with that shit.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Unless it's copyrighted.
But you can't copyright a game mechanic. You can copyright, they copyright tapping, but they can't copyright the whole... you turn the card sideways to make an effect. They can't copyright that, but they can copyright the word tap. Like, sure, okay, cool, fuck off. We'll turn the card. We'll rotate the card.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck you. Um, but yeah, don't worry about that. Like, yes, sir. So some of these things look sort of like Pathfinder 2, but again, also apparently that stuff was in their early playtest documents for fifth edition. So it's not like anything really as far as groundbreaking as far as mechanics. And I don't expect groundbreaking mechanics from D&D. I
No.
do expect them to take mechanics that have been used to good effect in other games and incorporate them into what they have, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because, I mean, if you're going to make a game good and you're going to make it where it's more accessible for people to play, I'm all for it. Type thing. Whether I like it or not, if you're going to make it more accessible for people to play, I don't care.
Especially given their current popularity.
Oh, yeah.
A new edition makes people feel like they can jump in at the ground floor and be like, "Oh, I can get in. I'm on equal footing." You're really, really not, but I appreciate that you feel that way.
And that's perfectly fine to feel that way too because, hey, everybody, if you're playing and you're having a good time, job's a good one, in
Legion,
my opinion.
Legion, they'll never introduce the "I know a guy" rule. That's too freeform. Like that should purely be house rules, and it's a wonderful house rule. But they need to keep themselves to mechanics. And what they need to do, because the Jason and I talked about it, not the Jason who role plays with me, that's Jason. The Jason talked to me about it, and we were talking about it. And you really, with a lot of these rules are coming, they have to decide where they want to be mechanically, what feel they want, and then they can make the true mechanics feel that way. Because the big thing right now is everyone's up in arms about ability scores, and everything's going to be based off ability scores and stuff. You know, ability score plus D20 roll. I'm like, oh, but how can the guy with 8 strength roll a 20 and succeed at something if the guy with 20 strength rolled a 7 and failed? Like, well, fuck off. Those are numbers.
It's called
And
random.
and also, if you're going to make, 20s be auto success, guess what? They're fucking auto success. I don't care. Literally, as long as your player can explain it, he can fucking succeed. That's how it should be. Don't give me your willy nilly, fucking crunchy roll bullshit of, but he's so weak he couldn't bend bars. Well, who fucking cares? Maybe he found a way.
He wet down a rope. He wet down his shirt, peed on it like Jackie Chan, and bent the bars and went with it. Who cares?
Well, we talked about it in other frameworks. Like, how well can the computer programming guy who doesn't know computer programming, succeed in a 20? Well, maybe his one buddy, or maybe he watched a video on YouTube that tells him the exact way to do that exact one thing. He's like, oh shit, I just watched a video on that this week.
Yeah.
20. Success. Fuck off. Stop saying no and start figuring out how to make it work.
Yeah. The 18 strength dude got a cramp.
Yeah, that shit happens.
Yeah, that could be.
It's I mean, this brings out, and we'll get more to it in a second, brings out the worst in the fucking tabletop community because they're so set in their ideas and they don't want to think about anything fucking else, and they need to.
Yeah. So I mean, they're going through it, and everybody should do. You can download it for free. You can check it out. Put in your 2 cents, because if you don't put in your 2 cents and you bitch about it, sorry, that's your fault.
I mean, I'm not gonna put in my 2 cents, and I'm gonna bitch about it anyways, but I don't actually fucking care.
Yeah, but
I'll play it if it's there. It doesn't matter to me.
yeah. To you, this is not for like you, because you've got other game systems you like better. But I mean, this is definitely something that a larger population is going to look at. And you got
I'm
the
al-
stupid grognards that are going to be assholes
I'm
about
always well, those guys. Fuck those guys.
it. Yeah.
I refer to that Dragon Ball Z meme with Frieza there, where he turns away and goes, "I'm going to ignore that." That's how I feel about anything. If I don't like the rule, fuck off. We did that in fourth edition. Fourth edition, any magic weapon, if you threw it, would come back, and I'm like, it's not a throwing weapon. No, fuck off. It lies there on the ground. But no, fuck off. It lies there on the ground. Do you want to change your action now on this new information? And Bane's like, nah, just go over and pick it up. Like, okay, cool, but like, it's not a throwing weapon. It ain't coming back to you. Sorry.
I didn't even know
Even
that
I
was a
have
rule.
limits.
I didn't play much fourth, but that okay. Yeah, I could see.
They streamline stuff. You know how it is.
Yeah.
That was like one of the few rules I was like, no, that's fucking stupid. Get the fuck out of here with that. But I mean, you gotta do that stuff. But yeah, if you're gonna play D&D a lot, you should download it. You should look at it. You should provide your feedback. You never know. You might help spark their imagination in another direction. Who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, what else are you
I
going
must
to
be
do with
honest.
your time?
regardless of what their commercials say, and I've seen some, that's not. It is never going to be the greatest role playing game in the world because that is not its actual goal.
No.
It wishes to be the most popular and easy to access role playing game in the world. It can absolutely succeed in those. And that is what they need to remember, and they should stick to their guns on that. People are always going to come out with better role playing games, the mechanics that work better in whatever specific setting in there. But D&D has almost become a genre unto itself. We noticed that at playing our fantasy game where, you know, we were thinking too much in D&D tropes, and other games don't play that way. They need to get used to that. So they I hope they have their goals and their points of what they need to achieve set out properly. And if so, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like for all my complaints about fifth edition, I'm just upset that there's no innovation in it. It was all the same shit, just throttled back to try and get their people back. Is what it is. The funny thing is, this fourth edition wasn't even a failure. People say, "Oh, it failed." No, they made a lot of money off it. They just didn't make as much money as they wanted to. And
This is the
like
reason why I also
population to another game. So which was also their own fucking fault.
which is the reason why I laugh when they say this is going to be like the one edition, and I'm like, really?
Well, a living update. If you make a good enough, solid enough rules update, and I'll be honestly, most of the D&D editions from let's say second-ish, late second edition on were good enough to just put them online and just do small updates here or there. We need to change the way this works. Boom, there you go. For all those people who tell you, well, play first edition D&D. First edition D&D is not good.
No.
You can have a hoot with it. Remember, every role-playing game, you can have a hoot with it. If you got the right people and the right GM, it's just going to be a fucking hoot. At that point, the rules don't even matter. You're just rolling dice and having a good time. But these are going to be fine rolls. What was it? I saw someone everyone's coming out of the woodwork to shit on WotC and promote their thing. Trollord Games was out there with their Castles and Crusades. We've been doing this stuff since. Fuck off! Your game sucks. I've played your game. It sucks. Sorry.
I've never played it.
So it's trash. No... It's first edition D&D with add-ons. So I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, it's as fun as any other game that doesn't have great rules. If you got good people, you got a fucking hoot. If you don't, you can't retreat to the mechanics. Though, to be fair, I think that's actually a bonus. Some games, you can retreat into the mechanics if you're not having as much fun playing, and you turn it into almost a war game, which is a mistake. I think I'd rather a player be like, no, this isn't for me, I'm out. I think that'd be a much more healthy reaction rather than retreating into mechanics. But that is a larger philosophical discussion that I may not want to get into right now.
Let's see, what else did they discuss? They're doing their own virtual tabletop with the Unreal Engine.
I heard that.
Which I think is cool because you can do character customization. Me personally, I would rather be sitting with my friends around a table, but I get where this is going. This is not for everybody, but I could also see if it's done well enough that you could, project this onto a table, or, I know one of my guys at work, they have an LCD screen built into their table, and they do it on that. And I'm like, what they showed was really cool. One, using the Unreal Engine is crazy, type thing. So,
yeah.
I mean, that would be cool. I mean, they're competing with everybody out there, You got, Roll20 and all those others that are making, decent ones, but they're about to put a 3D Unreal Engine version out.
There's one thing they can do, I think, that would actually sell it more than anything else.
What you got?
The audio. If they have the audio, tight,
yeah,
then they can get people. Because that's the one thing that falls short in every other thing is the audio isn't tight. We'll just use Skype. Oh, we'll just use Discord. Oh, we'll just use TeamSpeak. Well, at that point, why the fuck are we using the system, Get the audio tight. That can do more for them than anything else. It is the one major thing in every game that it makes me hard to play online games.
Yeah.
Because even in Discord, at a certain point, you almost sit down and go, here are the rules. because the audio isn't quite tight enough. Discord's close, really close, probably the closest we have. But if you can get the audio tight, you can do it. If you can't, I don't think. I think you're just sort of making do.
See, the thing is, I also think that if they get it done right and with all the customization, you could use it with any fantasy RPG then, because you're allowed
Yeah,
to make your own stuff and
yeah,
design.
but if like they've got the character builder and stuff like worked into it, cooked into it, really makes D&D tempting option for that. No matter
Yeah,
how much you may or may not like. Even me, you're like, I don't really care about D&D. Like, but that's like it's a really tempting option. Oh
which I
fuck!
think they're gonna have. The
I
character
realize
sheets built in, so all you do is you roll a dice and you're done.
my source books for D&D or D&D Fifth Edition. I might have to buy D&D Fifth Edition rule books just to have them, just in case. Or like always, I'll just fucking convert them like I always do. But yeah, that's interesting. Look.
I thought that was really cool. I mean,
Yeah,
one, they have the money to do it,
yeah.
and they have the money to do it right. Just if they're going to do it or not is going to be
Yeah,
the
but are
kicker.
they going to spend that money?
Yeah, I hope so
Uh,
because that would be really cool. Because I could see using that, if you have some friends and you're doing it, on your home type thing. Because they're allowing character customization, so you can make your character look a certain way and update them. So that's a good, neat little thing to do.
yeah. I was wondering how much house rule stuff they have in there.
Yeah,
It'd
if
be
you're
interesting
able
to
to.
see. As long as the accounts are all tied to like a DM, I think they can get it in there
Yeah,
because that way, like, oh, I play in this DM's game, so he's got house rules, so I can just do what I want, and then he'll review my character or whatever. But again, we're putting the techie crunchy bits before them actually fucking releasing it, so who cares at
yeah.
this point?
Well, they do have D&D Beyond, and D&D Beyond does have that in there. And so since they bought D&D Beyond,
Yeah, I remember they did that. Yeah,
they'll have that where it's all tied to a GM because I've done D&D Beyond and it's all tied to the GM to the story to whatever event. So
seems really cool.
seems like it could be in. What was the other thing? I did like that they are redoing some of the artwork to include different type of people because people were saying I've never seen myself in a video game, which is cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, you really don't think about that until now.
Until you look at old Dragon magazine covers and realize it's why is the chicks all scantily clad?
Yeah,
All of them.
and half nude.
I swear every sorceress was absolutely hot.
Yeah,
The hottest of hot. Like, wow. Being a sorceress must require 17 charisma. Fuck being a paladin.
yeah. But and that's a
No,
nice thing to do.
it's good, yeah.
Yeah,
And then the other was Dragonlance. They obviously announced Dragonlance. They showed the cover and the alternate cover, and I have opinions.
so I was looking forward to this more than anything because I'm a huge Dragonlance fan, and I was hoping that this was going to be like a setting after the War of the Lance or a new setting because I read the first new book and I thought that they may be going off of this new book, and they're not.
Nope.
This War of the Lance or this whatever I can't remember what it's called is set during the War of the Lance.
So, let me tell you my opinion on that before I go into opinions on covers and shit.
Yeah.
Uh, much like Star Wars, the best setting for the game is during their major conflict covered in most of the media. Because everyone's intimately familiar with it. You know what's going on. You know what it is.
Yeah.
You have that in your head. You don't need to do excessive world building because the novels did it for you. And I've said, much like in the Star Wars role-playing game, the Rebellion era, you guys aren't going to be the best heroes because we know the best heroes, the companions. But theirs doesn't mean you can't do things.
Correct.
It means you can't have your own goals and take care of them. There's a whole continent of fighting going on. There's plenty of room for you guys to do stuff. And again, it's. I think there is some place for after War of the Lance fighting because it calms down. There's still fighting, much like there's the Mandalorian era for Star Wars. But I think it's harder because there's not as much world built for that. You put a lot more on the GM, and the point of playing in a setting that's already created is the world building's already fucking done. You don't have to do it. That's why I'm paying my money. Not just because I love the setting, because I also don't want to have to do the world building. I want it done and in the book, ready to fucking go.
Yeah. Because I thought that they possibly would be going and doing whatever. And I'll describe it when I talk about the book I read. They were going to go that route, and it was just going to be like after the War of Lance. It's not. It's during the War of Lance, and it's actually a module, pretty much, with the ability to create characters in Dragonlance.
Well, they're doing a full source work. I mean, that's just the
Yeah.
first thing coming out for it.
And I mean, like I said, you can take everything that's in there and go like, you know what, we're going to do 300 years past the War of Lance because we already know what XYZ,
Sure.
which
If
is
you're
good.
into that, it is, but just remember the work you're going to be doing in doing that.
Correct.
You are basically just shy of creating your own goddamn campaign at that point.
Yeah. You've got the fluff and you've got the characters, so now you have to do your own.
Yep.
Which
So
is,
interesting there. My big thing is just how fucking boring their artwork choices are.
they're
Like, think back to the Dragonlance Adventures book that came back. There were Tannis holding the crown up and all that. That cover is fucking awesome. Has that classic Dragonlance logo that is fucking iconic.
oh yeah.
And these new ones it's just Dragonlance and normal lettering, and I was like, that's boring as fuck. Some guys riding on dragons, and all the artwork's fine. And then the alternate version is fucking Lord Soth, who is like fucking just like the Dragonlance version of Boba Fett. Like, yeah, he's cool and all, but he doesn't really fucking do much. He's beyond a tertiary character. He's cool, but he's not Darth Vader.
I think he had more lines than Boba Fett.
Yes. Yes. Not many. You actually have to go to other books to have him to have more, but
Yeah, I'm just saying.
well, Captain Missy, technically time travel exists in the Dragonlance universe, so sure.
she's referencing the book that I read.
Oh. Okay.
Because she wanted a spoiler and I spoiled it for her.
I just think that if you did so, any attempt would come up short.
But I mean, I'm excited. I'll definitely buy it because I'm a huge Dragonlance fan and I want to read on it and see what it is and blah blah blah.
I hate to say that I'm torn because of the cover, but I'm a little torn because of the cover.
I won't be
They
doing the
obviously
Lord Soth one, that's for sure.
Don't care as much as they used to. But I mean, people are up in arms like, well, they don't understand. There's a female Neo Slamnia. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, I know officially there's no female Neo Slamnia, but go fuck yourself with that shit. Take your fucking opinion on that shit and just get the fuck out of here. I don't even fucking care.
Which goes into the new book, by the way.
That's fine. I just absolutely don't like. Great. So something written at the in the height of misogyny in the fantasy world didn't allow for female Islamnia, which not saying that it was misogynistic at all. They actually had a lot of powerful female characters. Impressed with that. Like, yeah, no one fucking cares. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, not anymore.
Push your glasses up, so get your nerd voice. Well, actually, and then just actually fuck yourself out of here. Just don't even care.
Yeah.
I
What else?
blocked that fucker and moved on.
Well,
If we go through too much more news, we won't be able to talk about making community because it's already 8:35.
we got one last thing. I thought a couple other things coming out. Spelljammer did come out. Never been a big Spelljammer fan, but hey,
I am helping a guy with his a little bit with his Spelljammer rules.
Nice.
He doesn't like their space combat rules, so I'm just providing an exploded level. Like, hey, what about this? What about this? Couple things to help him make his rules more complex, like he wants. I mean, I'm a fan of space combat games, so.
And then Planescape will be coming out later, which I know there are a lot of fans of that. Depending on how they do it,
and I hope they enjoy the fuck out of it, because I'm not a Planescape guy, but I hope they enjoy it.
Yeah. So I mean, it was overall it was good because hey, anything that comes out for nerds and let people roleplay, for the most part,
Absolutely.
is good enough. So let's get into our other topic. So community building. So I saw your post about you helping someone and teaching someone how to play Malifaux, which really nobody has really been doing anything at the game stores. The only thing I really see being played every once in a while at our local one, I should say, not just everyone, at our local one is sometimes we have 40K, very little Age of Sigmar, and people are starting to come back out. And of course, we're beta testing at the store of Mark IV, and I've done demos of Conquest at the game store, so on and so forth. And I was like, wow, it's actually kind of weird going to the game store and playing a game
It would be for us
because
too, actually.
I haven't done that in what 2 almost 3 years.
We play in Marshall's basement, or we play here, or at someone's house, Petey's basement. We don't actually play in the game store so much anymore, but not that we're unwilling to. It's just circumstances, let's say, and keep it at that for now.
But I think that's also something that if you're wanting to grow your community, you got to go where the community's at. If it's
Yep.
just you and your buddies, yeah, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with just you and your buddies playing a game in the basement type stuff. But if you want to grow the community or you want to see some growth or get new players, you can't play in your basement. You got to go out. You either go to conventions where other people
I don't think
play.
going to conventions to try and play a game is a good idea. You're going to get an event and be done. I think that's the worst idea.
Correct. But I mean, you've got to go, as what I'm saying is you've got to go out and willing to
Yes.
participate. Your
Yes.
best bet is to go to your game store and set up a table, tell everybody, hey, I'm going to be playing this, I'm going to be doing demos. John and I are going to be doing Malifaux. Would you like to learn how to play? Are you curious? Come out. Let's see how this goes.
You should also work it out with the game store in advance, because things that they need to know if you're running a game is if they're low in stock, they may be like, can we wait until we get a restock? We don't want to make an extra restock necessarily for a game that's sort of maybe on the up and down.
Correct.
But when we get a regular stock in, can we leverage that to that, or can you run it again for that?
Correct.
That's worth telling them, so that way they can support you even a little bit. And don't expect them to give you anything. You got to do it for the love of the game.
Correct. This whole thing of, oh, I need someone that's going to be here and I have to get rewarded for doing this demo, aka the old press ganger thing. While it was a great program and everything, you've got to be the press ganger now.
Yep.
That's just how it is.
Your reward is more people to play the game you love.
Yeah. And you get to play it more often.
Yep.
And that's what you're just going to have to do. Because, I mean, there's just, even if a program gets brought back or a company has a program, Conquest does have a program where if you do demos and they've got their own little press gang stuff and you get rewarded for it, if you're doing it for the reward, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think Malvo still has the henchman program, but I mean, our local henchman doesn't play Malifaux anymore. He's just a full-time streamer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is, but it doesn't help us anymore. But I'm always willing to go out and help. It's one of those things. If you got a group of buddies and someone's interested, you got a guy at work, because Marshall's one of his work buddies, I believe, wanted to learn how to play Malifaux, so he said, "Hey, this weekend I invited him over. We're gonna play Malifaux." So I'm like, "All right." I grabbed Malifaux stuff, put it in the car. Not Brushhead Dave came in. He actually did a lot more of the teaching. I did a lot more of the helping, a little bit here and there. I mean, yeah, Marshall said perfect. I grilled sausage, and sausage is the best game day. Yeah, chicken and sausages was great, absolutely great. But yeah, I mean, so he had him come over and all that. But that's the kind of thing you do. If someone has it, just have them. You don't even have to do the game store. Like, if the game store is an option, it's a good option. But if you know somebody, like, hey, if you're them well enough, like, hey, just come over, we'll play some games, meet in a neutral place, wherever, play a game, and I'll teach you the rules. Be ready for that. And if you're going to be an ambassador of the game, even if it's just on your own desire, being an ambassador, you should start looking into getting the painted forces to teach with. I feel a little bad that my 2-player starter set forces weren't painted, but let's be honest, I only really started hardcore painting. I mean, basically a little bit before the pandemic, not too much before. Actually, I guess it was plenty before the pandemic, thinking about it, but not enough that I had a ton of stuff painted.
So do you think you should be 100% expert know all the rules of all the game before you do a demo or get people involved?
Uh, Here's the greatest thing. You will never be 100% expert, know all the rules and everything. It's not about knowing the information, and anyone will tell you this. It's about knowing where to find the information. Knowing where to find the information is better than wasting what limited memory space we have in this fucking meat hard drives
Meat hard drive, I like
to
that.
just rules. Is to know where to find it. Have an idea in the rule book where it is. We had a couple times I'm like, let me take a look. This, and this. Okay, cool. And then a couple times, David, I looked at her like, sure, but we'll check the FAQs afterwards. Because sometimes there's some things where, maybe the wording isn't perfect or anything. I mean, we're used to that in all the games we play.
Yeah, I think if you're really, really passionate and you're like, I use this as an example. I don't know, but give me a minute and I'll look it up.
Yep.
Is very, very important because it's the thing we did as a teacher. It says, I'm not sure, but I will get back to you on that. Let's continue on.
Now, Marshall says, demo games are about telling a story and coming away with a fun memory. It has nothing to do with dice. Correct, and not even just so much that we're playing Malifaux doesn't use dice, we're using cards. But no, it's about it's about learning the rules, making sure if you like the feel of the game. That's the most important thing.
Get the quick mechanics.
Yep.
Because like I said, I've still never done Malifaux, so I have no clue.
It's middle tier difficulty. It's just got a lot of stuff to it. Like the basics of it are fine and easy, but there's middle tier difficulty overall. So, not bad. I mean, the guy who's learning, who name I forget, of course, because I'm terrible like that. It's got to show up like multiple times where I remember. He came away with the rules pretty quickly, and know the audience you're teaching. I say a lot of times, I once taught a son and father how to play War Machine with almost no materials because we only had what they had in the two-player set, and I am sorry to say that was not fucking enough to play the game. Like, Malifaux's a little bit better. They still have printed materials, and that's not a dig on the two-player set because the two-player set for War Machine and Hordes had materials, but the cards from Malifaux are inherently dry erase.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You can mark damage dry erase, or they were using Marshall was just using dice. That works too. You sit down and try your demo game, much like a scenario you might run at a store for a role playing game. Just sit down, and it strikes you. It's very funny that I'm talking like we're a role playing podcast first when we're really not. Anyways, just like those scenarios, you try out your demo game, make sure you got the idea, figure out which schemes and strats you should be using so you can teach them all the basic rules. Maybe you just start with a strategy. I believe Dave just started with a strategy, teaching how to play the main strategy, and then we'll add schemes later, which is probably a good call because it's a lot. Every game is a lot.
Oh, yeah, especially
They're
when
not all
brand new.
40K shoots and ladders bullshit.
What?
I mean, just shoot each other and go. Even 40K, when you get into their scenarios and victory points, it can get a little more complicated. So keep that in mind. Understand the complicatedness. Figure out where the person's rules knowledge is, their game knowledge. What have they played? Have they played board games? Have they played role-playing games? Have they played other miniature games? What have they played? And this works for role-playing games as well. Figure out where their knowledge is so you can make sure you're teaching them how to play. And if you get a bunch of new people for your role-playing game, whether it be at the store or at your house or wherever, make sure you're doing the first scenario easy. There should be combat in the first scenario. There should be role-playing in the first scenario. That way they can get a feel for what's going to go on. Try and do it whatever ratio you're going to do in the main campaign, if you know that. I don't ever fucking know. But if you have an idea, do that so they can feel what the ebb and flows of the game's going to be like. Because you're not just teaching them, you're making sure they like what they see. Because remember, everyone's putting time into this. You're putting time into it. They're putting time into it. You want to make sure you're actually enjoying your time. There are some games where people just don't like. Cool. I understand. More power to you. You want to play something else. That's all good. Find something you like and play it. But you want to demo it so they can see if there's something they're going to want to spend their limited free time on.
And limited funds,
Well,
especially
to be
miniature
fair,
gaming, because miniature gaming,
well, I mean,
it's not a cheap
I'm
hobby.
gonna throw shade again. As long as you're not playing 40K Age of Sigmar, it ends up being okay. Like
But
we were
you
talking
understand.
earlier, they were talking earlier about the $200 starter set for War Machine of Hordes. So it's not horrific, but it is an investment. It's a solid investment. It's not like you're spending 40, 50 bucks, maybe 70 bucks on a board game and boom and gone. It's three times that almost.
Yeah.
So, keep that in mind when you're looking at it, sell the game properly. A lot of these games come with core box sets. They do fucking use that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, sure, you might want to use the Hulk and all this other cool stuff when you're teaching Marvel Crisis Protocol, but do not. When you're teaching somebody, just bring out the 10 guys that come in the box set. They actually have this is how you play Marvel Crisis Protocol in the fucking quick start guide. I don't want to call it a rule book because it's really not a fucking rule book. Rip rule books. Uh, that tells you how to set it up and how to run it. Run that. This side setup. You get these guys, you get these guys. Do it. It's not about showing them the full magnitude of the game, first off. You'll scare motherfuckers off all the time with that because these things get fucking complicated.
Yeah. Know your audience too. That's really important.
Yes.
If someone is brand new, if John's trying to show me Malifaux, he's not going to talk about, you know, the really easy to understand stuff. I want the more complicated stuff type thing because I've been in miniature gaming. I know what it is. I'm like, show me what makes this game unique compared to everybody else type thing. But if it's someone brand new to miniature gaming, you're going to want to
Yes.
make sure, and I hate to say the word dumb it down, but you want to do it like you're talking to a kindergartner.
So, example in our games of Malifaux, El Marshall and Spencer played, and they played Lady Justice for Victorious, or Beat Stick versus Beat Stick. So they beat stick it up. That's a perfect intro game. You don't need to know all the shenanigans and fuckery that can happen in Malifaux because the game is shenanigans and fuckery. I'm here to tell you, and you don't have to worry about that because you're just beat sticking it. But then the next game, Dave and the other gentleman, they're playing, or Spencer and the other gentleman, Spencer was playing Victorious again because he wants to play. I was playing Molly, and Molly is sort of middle to high tier fuckery. So that teaches you how to do more. You start thinking like, well, hey, she's got this ability. If I do the same action twice in a row, I take damage. What can I do to mitigate that? And you start asking questions that then you can teach them what they can do next. Well, you can do this. You can do this. You don't have to attack twice. You have to take it differently. Spencer started putting things in the way. So he's like, okay, I'm behind your giant projectile vomiting necromantic thing. So I can't see her. She can't see me. So that ability doesn't affect me. So murder time. You've got to, again, like you said, play to the audience, know what it is. If you think they're ready for the full shenanigans or fuckery of the game, bring it to them because they're going to want to see that. War Machine of Hordes, I would always show throwing and stuff if I could in the demo game so that they could see that that's a thing that can happen in the game.
Correct.
Or I would tell people like, hey, look, you can knock this guy down, then you can see me over it, and you can do shenanigans that way. You know, uh, you want to show off that thing that makes it special.
Highlight it.
Highlight it a bit. Yeah, I think there's a new Malifaux two-player set coming out, which I'll have to purchase because they, I think they do a good job of showing off some of the features of the game. So, but you've got to you got to be ready for that. Marshall says scenario. Dear opponent, I have Lady Justice. She likes to kill things with a greatsword. This is where you come in. It was bloody. That game was crazy. But you got to play for that. You got to know, and you got to ask somebody. Like sometimes I'm not going like, oh, I want to play this game. Okay, what kind of games do you play? What kind of games do you like? Figure out your elevator pitch for the game, which should be a very short. If you're stuck in an elevator and want to sell the game to somebody, how you sell it.
Yeah.
I usually call Malifaux Gangs of New York plus Cthulhu.
That's yeah.
And a little bit of steampunk in there. If you those the steampunk Gangs of New York plus Cthulhu, people that's pretty much covers it. People are like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then you've got your elevator pitch. I mean, luckily Marvel Crisis Protocol doesn't need an elevator pitch.
No, you say Marvel, you're done.
Yeah, and actually, that's the one thing I figured out is why so many people are flocking to Marvel because they don't have to go out of their way to learn like the lore of Marvel or the history. There's no extra stories to read. It's just fucking comic books and movies that they're probably already consuming.
On a daily basis.
Yeah. So, and make sure you mention that. Like, if you're playing a game like Malifaux that has rich history and actual good stories, um, background, put that in there. Mention some highlights and stuff. Like, oh, you're playing so and so who does such and such.
Give a little bit of fluff.
A little bit of fluff in there, or what models are like. Oh, that person's there. Mention how some of the games are living games, some of the games aren't. We mentioned multiple times we were doing Malifaux how the big necromancer Nicodem was actually killed by Lady Justice in one of their things, and so like you can still play him. Like it's not like, oh, you can't play him anymore. The Malifaux police will come over. But like in their big events, if they say it's if they don't say it's a Dead Man's Chest event, then you can't play him.
Oh, is that what that version
Yeah,
is? Oh,
one of their guys is in jail. Some of the characters have changed factions because of their story and all. And yeah, that means that maybe I have a fully painted, very awesome looking model that's not in a faction I play anymore, but that shit happens, unfortunately. Better than Games Workshop, where I had a wonderfully painted and fully functioning, not a faction anymore.
Which one was that one?
Dogs of War.
Oh, yeah.
I had all of them.
Yep.
I do mean all of them. And I loved them. They were great. Anyways. Then everyone says, I miss how you used to be able to kill your own guys in War Machine Hordes and how that work before they said no. Yeah, I mean, but the big thing, Xander, is they've decided they don't want to be the shenanigan game anymore. They're going to be more meat and potatoes. They're setting themselves up as similar to 40K, just less models.
Yeah,
which
they had
is not a bad idea, necessarily.
Yeah, Mizzy asked me about that one time of why people were kind of complaining about that, and I was like, well, the shenanigans, and I gave Butcher 3 as an example. Dog charges up, dog kills, dog does this, then Butcher comes up, kills dog, and now his threat range is 32 inches instead of 9.
I mean, I had a game on record on recording where I charged Gorton to my own model to drop my feet. Because it absolutely fucked most of the enemy force.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost worked. I took a chance. I mean, that was the game, and it's not that game anymore, which is fine. Because honestly, I think we're beyond where that is. I think that was better when you couldn't pre-measure. Once you're able to pre-measure, all that fuckery and shenanigans became not nearly as good. Because now you can measure everything out perfectly. Look, I'm 11.1 inches away, so now there is no possible way on God's green earth, even with a push, your guy cannot charge me. We're no longer at that point where you're going to gotcha somebody. Push was the big gotcha, All right, I put rage on this troll, and this troll goes up and pushes the other troll forward an inch. Now he's in charge range. Fucking die. That happens in a lot of games.
Yep.
That's not what they want to be anymore, which is fair. That's been gone for a while with the measuring everything. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, like War Machine, I'm not sure what. God, I hate to fucking say this. I don't even know what you would put forward as the War Machine's big thing. Gonzo, what would you put forward as War Machine's big thing nowadays?
Um.
Because it used to be the maneuvering game. Like, this is the game where how you face your models, where you move your models is the most important thing. And now it's like, nah, not that fucking important.
Yeah, because line of sight in Mark IV, there's no arcs in it anymore.
Yeah, no arcs, no blocking people from. I mean,
let's see. I would say, I don't know.
That, sir, That's the problem.
I would say if I was going to put a thing, they are still in beta, but a clean rule set has always been one of the things they tried to do. Um,
Okay, well, full stop. It's never been a clean rule set, ever,
better than 40K.
ever. Actually, no, it actually has not been better than 40K.
I can't stand 40K rule set.
40K though is so easy. Most of the 40K things, it's all, someone says something like, no, the rules are permissive. They tell you what you can do, not what you can't do. If it doesn't say you can do it, you can't do it. It's a lot of people being assholes in 40K. The
Yeah.
rules are generally not great, but solid, clean enough. After an errata, they're fine. I mean, they had the best tournament, but that's just because of mountains of errata. I mean, like I said, that's the thing though. A clean rule set shouldn't be your selling point on a game. You need to have something. What is your game? Scenario play?
We haven't seen the new scenario, so I can't comment on that because they
Exactly.
are redoing that.
Which is
They
good.
Yeah.
It might be, but right now they're in a weird spot.
Yeah.
But they don't really have
We're
it.
in that phase where we're in between editions, and that's always a weird phase to be in.
Well, it's like, because it used to be, we're the giant stompy robot game.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. But, 40K is like, we got knights. They're gianter and stompier. Like, well, that's true.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, a knight versus a warjack, I know which one I'd rather play with.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. That's a good thing to think about. Before you play the game, you should be able to sell it on what it is. Marvel superheroes. You want to play superheroes? Come on. Solid scenario play plus fun, interactive terrain would be the big Marvel selling point, I think. So I mean, some of them sell themselves. I mean, honestly, at some point where you're a big IP, you sell yourself, don't you?
Yeah,
That's
you don't even,
kind
you
of-
can just say, hey, here's a miniature game with Marvel superheroes.
Xander, we said that earlier. Like Mark 4 reminds you too much of 40K. Yeah, well, they're trying to be 40K but less models. It seems to me that may not be true. Captain Mizzy says, "You're all killing your people like a bunch of assholes." I get it, but not my style. Captain Mizzy, war is hell. War is hell. Sometimes you got to cap your own dude to win the war, and it's fucking terrible.
I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, obviously we could rant forever about community building, but those are the basics of figuring it is make sure you know what you're selling, have your elevator pitch down for what it's like, and then make sure you've tested what you're going to be playing them through so you know how it runs and make sure it runs smoothly to show off what you want to show off. And then be inclusive.
Yes.
Be inclusive. Always inclusive.
Do what you can with the store. Work with the store. See if you can set up events at the store, even if it's just quick demo events.
Or fun days. Like,
Yeah.
events don't. There's a whole other rant, but I'm not going to full rant. Events don't have to be tournaments. We got to the point where events had to equal tournaments, and we need to make sure it's not there.
Yeah. Like, guys, we're all getting together, and we're just doing nothing but getting together and playing games.
Yep.
And that's what it's meant to be.
Yep.
We're learning.
The old release events for War Machine Horrors for the books.
Oh, yeah.
Silly and fun, like that was better.
And people got away from that, too, in my opinion. I think that was...
The whole country. It's not... Let us not blame any game. I cannot blame any game. It became... Tournaments were the way to get together and do things like, no, there are better ways. I love that Marvel Crisis Protocol, inherently they have the big events, I forget what they're called. The multiplayer events where it's you versus one of the big bad guys.
Oh, yeah. Ultimate encounters.
Ultimate encounters, yeah. Thanos, Ultron, whatever. They have
Hulk.
It's funny because Hulk's the good guy in his. It's great.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. They don't have to be tournaments.
No.
You're like, hey, we're all getting together so we can all learn how to play the game, or...
Just so we can all have fun playing the game together.
Yeah.
Normally it's 2-player game, now you've got 3-player rules. Because that was one of the things that came up. Like, does Malifaux have 3-player rules? Well, yes, they do. We've had plenty of 3-player scenarios, 4-player scenarios. They're a little more crazy and shenanigan-y, but interesting things to play.
You can always, like, one of the things I always did it was called Steamroller with a Twist. Pretty much, it was it ran like a steamroller, how you paired people up in a tournament, but to win it wasn't whether you had the best win-loss percentages, whether you had and you did all the objectives. Like you got so many points if you did 2 consecutive throws in a turn, or
Food
whenever,
machine.
yeah, like the food machine.
Food
Yeah,
machine was the best. The best.
yeah.
Like
So
when someone's like, "Oh, how many tickets does it take to reroll?" Oh, I got 1 to reroll. Oh yeah, I play 2 to make you reroll that, or 1 to make you reroll that. Oh yeah, 2 to reroll mine again. Oh yeah,
yeah,
just back and forth till just piling up tickets is great. At some point, it didn't become about what the game was about. It became who was going to win this
yeah.
particular roll off.
I mean, like
And
one
you
of
can
my
do that with any game. You can
correct.
do that with any game. Go find an old food machine roll packet and just steal it.
Yeah, one of my things is whenever the last guy of the unit died, you gave a eulogy of your warcaster gave a eulogy to that unit, and you got points for it. And I was like, people are like, okay. Like one of them was stupid. If your warcaster got assassinated, take a picture saying, Warcaster X let me down and post it onto social media, and and you got points for that. And it's meant to just be fun and have a good time. And also it also teaches you how to play the rules too. Because how do I do a throw? Well, this will tell you how to do a throw.
Yep.
Type
We
thing.
should probably get the media because I know we got a bunch.
Oh, dang, it's actually 8:01. See, yeah, let's get to the media section.
It's actually 9:01.
Depending on what part of the world you're in, yes.
What? Yeah.
So, guys, what it really comes down to is reach out to those people, find people that are interested, get together, do what you can, and just have a good time.
Yes.
Have a good time. Teach them the rules, bring them in, because you never want to exclude somebody that wants to be part of your community. If they're a dick, different story.
Asshole or a Nazi, fuck those people.
Yeah. But if it's just random Joe that's just like, hey, I want to this looks cool, I want to play this. And if I find out that, you didn't, they didn't play because someone was we play only big, tournament player stuff and everything, you're ruining the community. We need more.
Even
we
Tom
need more
Cruise,
people.
Cookie. Even Tom Cruise.
Even Tom Cruise.
I bet he'd be a hoot to play with.
I think Robin Williams would have been the best person to play against because that motherfucker would have made sound effects as he was playing.
Tom Cruise was one of those guys who could pay someone to paint his models, but no, he's going to learn every painting technique to paint the models himself the perfect possible way. You think about Tom Cruise, you painted a Green Army. 40K is a D&D of miniature gaming. War Machine is Shadowrun. Tiny in comparison to popularity, sales, and players is most successful when it was its own thing and doesn't try to compare itself to the top game. Wow, that is absolute truth from Real Marshall. All right, media section. Gonzo, let's start with She-Hulk since we both watched that.
So we did. Spoiler review or non-spoiler?
Non-spoiler. I mean, it's...
Non-spoiler.
I enjoyed it. It was good.
I did too. I was waiting for it to suck, type thing, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was nothing, to worry about. I'm glad I got to see, Hulk again, and Mark Ruffalo. He's fun. He's a good Hulk.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. It was the right mix of lighthearted so far. Maybe
But
a
it's
little extra
supposed to be.
lighthearted, but it's supposed to be. So I was good with it.
Yeah, I've never read the She-Hulk comics, but I heard that it really brought the She-Hulk.
She-Hulk comic was always third wall breaking and a little silly at points. So yeah.
That it did do that, but I mean, it had good comedy in it. Had good story. Had good lines to it. It was fun. The ending credit scene.
She has a good little mini rant at one point that people are getting upset about, but those people can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, the whole anger issue one that's the one we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great line and not untrue.
Yeah, very very well written thing.
Yes.
Special effects were good. No issue there.
If there were any breakdowns, I didn't notice them, but I'm not staring at them for the best special effects in the history of special effects.
No, I'm not worried
we had
about
Avatar
it.
coming out for that, right?
Yeah. You know what's funny, Xander? You're talking about is it going to be Ally McBeal? You know that was the elevator pitch. It was Hulk meets Ally McBeal, but I didn't see in this episode. I didn't see Ally McBeal. I saw Hulk beginning storyline.
Yeah. Cookie Mandius. Yes, it was better than Robot Jocks.
Yes.
No, that was not a hard bar to clear. Yes,
I
enjoyed
enjoyed
the
it.
crap out of it. Look forward to watching the rest of it.
The after credit scene was very funny.
Yeah, it was a hoot.
I wasn't expecting it, but good because it does hits on some things. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. Going to come out next Thursday. See how it goes. I'm kind of curious on bad guys and stuff. I mean, Wong is in this, so how can you go wrong with Wong?
Wow, really? So you're saying the only right way is Wong?
The only right way is wrong. Yes, we are getting Daredevil also with his yellow outfit, which we're gonna find out why. I guess.
Yeah,
And
that's cool.
She-Hulk.
Before they get to his series, because they're doing more for him, which is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, enjoyable. Wait to see it again.
Yeah.
Where do we want to go next, Gonzo?
You can go with yours. Go with yours.
Mine. I finished season 5 of The Expanse finally.
Finally. So you're gonna give it an overall rating now?
An overall rating. I mean, finally, I watched it all this week. I mean, I had started it before, just hadn't had the chance. The Expanse continues to be one of my favorite series. I was a little put out the end of season 4 because they killed off a character I very much liked, which is just speaks to how good the series is. Because the season before he was an antagonist rather than a protagonist.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to the main villain, who I don't necessarily like, actually actively hate. Looking forward to him getting murdered at some point in the next season. I have people I know I want to murder him. I don't know if it will be them. But no, I enjoyed it. It's good quality as all. I think if any flaws, I know they had to get rid of the pilot because the actor did very, very terrible things.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Allegedly, he had some accused of or convicted of, I forget which it is, terrible things he did, so they had to get rid of him, which is why he went out so abruptly.
Huh. I didn't know that.
I think they worked it in well enough to the series. I mean, they were mentioning it, so I was like, oh shit. I think the only downside I'd give to it is maybe they belabored the point with Naomi on her own trying to do stuff. It was very difficult to watch her just continually there in terrible shape and constantly failing and all. It was a little bit of a downer. I think probably I would not have done it that way. I would have been more circumspect trying to keep it, because it was already a down season. Like, they introduce characters, even antagonist characters who you like, who get off, then you're like, oh, fuck, I kind of like that guy, though. So I think that may be the only negative I have for it. I give it the other way around, one space herpy.
I was going to say, I thought you said it was good, John.
Give it one space herpy. Very much enjoyed it. Looking forward to next season. I don't know when I'm going to get to watch it, even though it's already out. I just happened to have the opportunity to watch that all within a week, so I did.
Gotcha. My first one is we're gonna go with Dragonlance. I finished Dragons of Deceit, which is the new Dragonlance book by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. It is a story of a girl that is the daughter of a Knight of Solamnia, and her father dies with Sturm, and she loses her estate and everything because, of course, she's not a male heir. So she loses everything, and she's not a Knight of Solamnia, so she's going to try to travel back in time to save him from getting killed with Sturm.
Oh, God, it's that one. So he had the 3 knights he met in Tarsus that go with him. I remember one dies, quote-unquote, off camera.
Yeah. And so...
that's actually, I think it's handled in one of the short stories in one of the 3 Tales books.
Yeah. Well, so she tries to get the time journeying device from Taz, and of course Taz says, well, you have to say a certain thing and you have to do it a certain way, and of course she goes, well, I want to go back to the High Clearest Tower. Is like, no, I'm going to take you to my friends and I'm going to go to the Night of the Inn. It go to the night that they all met at the inn, and of course Taz takes them to everything, and of course it fucks up the entire timeline.
Wait, hold on. Taz gets involved and shit gets fucked up. My shocked face.
Yeah, Taz is one of the characters in it, and he's pretty prevalent in it too. Because this is pretty much right after the War of the Lance when all this happens. Um, I don't know.
Probably not as great.
Probably not as great. So the book starts off kind of slow and kind of, okay, let's get to the story. Let's get to it. We know what's going to happen. We know she's got to get the time journeying device and go back in time. But once it starts doing that, it gets really, really good and a lot of fun. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody because, some people don't want to be spoiled on it. But it does get a lot of fun. And I thought that the new edition where they were going to like retcon everything that happened after the War of the Lance. Do a,
Well, they may still, but
Star Wars Legends, and they may still because we don't know everything because the story book, the book that's coming out, is what's going to be happening in the book. That battle sounds like what's going to be happening in the book.
well, so Dragonlance has a lot in common with Star Wars Legends novels.
Yes.
Is that the quality of novels varied really fucking greatly.
Yeah. You had some really good ones, and you were like, what the hell was this?
Yeah.
But they do go back in time, and, they fuck with the timeline, and, of course, you fuck with the timeline, it fucks with the present, and so that's where it's going. Taz is in it. Sturm, Raceland, everybody, all the characters are in it. They're not the main characters, but they are part of the story. Was it a good book? I would say the first half, I would probably give it like a meh, like a 2.5. But once they started getting into the time traveling and getting everybody moving, it was fun, and I'd give it like a 1. So overall, 1.5, maybe. I'm sure it's going to be another year or so before the second book comes out, but hopefully it comes out quick because I want to know what's coming on. But I think they probably have something going with Wizards about the release date based, and it's going to be based with the product, I think. Possibly. I don't know. I want to know where it goes and what happens because either A, they're going to reset the timeline of what happens, or they're going to retcon what happens.
Possible.
Yeah. Cookie, I did read the ones with the kids, and this would take all those books and make them disappear.
Yeah, I haven't read that one, but I heard about that one, and that was, I think, a really poor choice. But
they could Star Wars Legend this, all those old books, and reset after what happens after the War of the Lance, in my opinion. So we don't know. But overall, it wasn't a bad book. Listen on audio. It was only like 12 hours on audio, so it wasn't bad.
fair enough. I'm still reading Dragonlance myself, but I haven't had a lot of time this past week because you get off work at 8 p.m. You're like trying to play some video games, and then it's like go from, all right, finish the mission. Oh, I got to go to bed.
Yeah. So, all right, John, what's your next one?
I also finished Halo.
Oh, damn. You were busy.
I mean, I didn't have that many episodes. I was like easily halfway through, and I liked Halo. I thought some of the plot points were see-through at points, but I think that's more of them just being tried and true tropes than anything. I don't feel like anything was out of character for anyone. I mean, people complain about Master Chief being out of character, but the fucking Master Chief didn't have a fucking character. That's sort of the point.
No, he really didn't have a character.
Thing is, he's not supposed to. He's supposed to be masked badass, so that when you're playing the game, you can be, I am this masked badass.
Yeah.
That's why Boba Fett was popular. That's why Snake Eyes is popular, because they're masked. You can easily put yourself in that persona. And I really enjoyed it. I like where they're going with it. I like they're not just telling the Halo story again. I still think the Covenant guys look a little weird. They remind me too much of Skeksis for some reason. It's a little off-putting, but yeah. I liked where it went. I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, they have a second season already. There was a point in the middle of it where I was like, man, the B plot with the girl on the planet, and his old buddy was much more interesting. But then they came back to the A plot, and A plot just took off running. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see where the B plot goes as well.
Well, I mean, it did get renewed, so we'll
Yep.
get at least one more season of it.
I thought it was good quality. I know people bitched about it, but it wasn't going to be your video game ever.
No.
It's okay. And and you have to realize that it is better to take a property and tell it in a different manner, as in a million retellings of Batman. It's easy to go, hey, this Batman isn't Batman. They're just telling a new. It's like Hercules. It's like a new myth based off Hercules. These are the new mythology. It's okay to tell them in a different way.
Yeah.
That's what a remake should be. The shot for shot remakes aren't good. The remakes, in different, like for all of its flaws, at least the Batman was a different sort of telling of Batman. So, that kind of thing. So, but I liked it. I will give it also. I'm going to give it like between 1 and 1.5 space herpes because I felt like there were some minor pacing issues, but that might have just been that I stopped in the middle of it and had to come back in. So, in my
Gotcha.
area, it is good quality. It's another reason that Paramount Plus is almost a must get. Much as I hate to say it for something like that, they just have a lot of good quality.
Oh yeah, they're hitting it out of the park.
I mean, shit, like even if you just watch Strange New Worlds and Halo, is still like practically worth it there, and then you get fucking Discovery on top of that, and then I guess Lower Decks, but Lower Decks hasn't really interested me.
Yeah, it's more of a comedy, silly, stupid
Oh,
shit.
yeah, El Marshall, I agree. Halo is whenever you switch to Spartan John with John Spartan, that went to my head multiple times. Like, I know, just, it makes my head break. No, very much enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next season of it. Jonathan?
um. So we had the final episode of Evil. Evil is a show on Paramount Us Plus also. It is the story of, and I really like this show because the character's really good. You have a priest, psychiatrist, and a non-believer, pretty much, and they go
Do they walk
around.
into a bar?
They all walk into a bar all the time, and then they bump their nose and they hurt themselves, and then they got to rub it and make sure they're okay.
I just rolled with that. Thank you.
But they have to find out if like everything that happens to these people is really supernatural, or is it this, or is it gas pockets or gas leaks, or just whatever.
Wait, so
And
it's like X Files?
it is very much like an X Files, a modern day like X Files, and I love this show. This show is great. The characters are unbelievable. It's a lot of fun. Um, I think we're on like 3 seasons of it so far. I hope it gets a fourth. Because the female lead, she's got like 4 kids, and it's great when these kids come into the scene because it's 4 teenage girls. I would say preteen to teen, and they walk in the room and they all talk at the same time, and they're all talking, trying to talk over each other, and the mother's like, "Just shut the fuck up," type thing. But I mean, it's got really good story, really good acting. A lot of cool things are happening, but it also kind of goes, is this really supernatural, or is this, reality? And it's skirting that line in a
It's Old
way.
Man Carruthers. I would
Yeah.
have gotten away from it too if it wasn't for you pesky kids.
Um, and so it's skating that line because there's a section where this character has supernatural powers, and it's shown, that she does. And then there got, Scooby Dooing scenes, type thing. But I'm enjoying the shit out of this show. Every Sunday, the last episode was last Sunday, and legit love it. Hopefully, I get a season 4 out of it. I give it probably half a space RP just because there's like there's like 1 or 2 episodes that are just like cool, but let's get to the fucking monkey type thing.
Get to the fucking monkey is important.
So other than that, John, what you got?
I don't know if I watched anything other than that. I mean, I watched an episode of Warrior because I'm trying to finish that off, or at least season one,
Such a
finish
great
season
season.
two.
Such a great series.
Enjoying it. It's definitely interesting. I also need to finish The Witcher season one. I'm trying to finish off the stuff I started, and then I'll go into something like, and I really hate them for making episodes so fucking long. Stranger Things, because It's easier for me to gain the 45, 50 minutes for an episode than to get like an hour and 15 to an hour and a half.
Correct. You're just like, oh crap.
Doubly so because on Netflix, I have to watch Netflix downstairs on the TV, so there's only certain times I can do it.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I haven't finished Witcher, why I'm doing Warrior instead. But I'm enjoying Warrior very much. I look forward to continuing it. And then I also know I want to watch Daredevil's on my list. I need to watch that before, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I'll get it all done before. I mean, I won't, unless fucking catastrophes happen. I won't get it done before he shows up in She-Hulk, but I'm gonna go start it off.
Yeah.
But I want to finish things. There's so many things started. I need to finish them. You know, it's okay if I like watch like an episode or two or something. Like, yeah, every once in a while I'll just watch an episode of some series, like the first episode of something. Like I remember like months ago I watched the first episode of the MacGyver new series on whatever it was on, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay, I'm not gonna watch anymore. You know, Banyan's been watching, and he finished NCIS, which apparently went crazy. Weird seeing Gibbs super old. And I haven't watched any movies. I do want to see Bullet Train, but I haven't had a chance to get out for that. So it's just so hard. These last 2 weeks have been just fucking hell at
Yeah.
work, so I don't know.
You need something that you can watch in 30 minutes and be good.
Yeah, I just need something I can, you know, because I need the other time to decompress. You
Correct.
can't always decompress in a series sometimes. That's why I like some of those series I say I don't feel like I like what they did is because they're too heavy. And after work, you don't want something heavy. You need popcorn.
Yeah. Turn your brain off.
You know, that's why people watch sitcoms, honestly. It's their popcorn.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Still trying to finish through Dragonlance to finish Chronicles. I'm started through, through Dragons of Autumn Twilight. I'm in the second book, Dragons of Winter, whatever the fuck.
Winter night.
Sure. You say so? It's different when you're watching the Chronicles. I don't know if I told you, but I realized I wasn't getting done with this in enough time to really give my coworker a chance to read them. So I just bought a trilogy for her on Amazon. I'm like, here, just read them.
Yeah.
Go. Tell me your favorite character is and why it's Tass.
Yep. Pretty much. Let's see. What else did I watch? Checking my list.
Everything?
So I watched Lightyear, which is the new Disney.
Oh, the Buzz Lightyear one, yeah.
The Buzz Lightyear.
Which I hear is just marketed poorly.
Yeah, it was okay. I'm just like, it's all right. It just gives me a meh rating. It was just okay. Wasn't anything great. Wasn't anything awesome. I mean, it was better than a poke in the eye with a stick, type
I
thing.
mean, most things are,
Yeah.
except cats.
So I mean, it gets my 2.5. It was okay.
Did I mention they made a sequel to Atlantic Rim?
Yes.
The fuck does that happen?
One thing I'm trying to get through right now is the Orville. They moved it to Disney Plus.
Yeah, I still can't muster the give a shit.
I can't either.
Like, if Star Trek wasn't out and good, I could see it hitting that mark. Because that was sort of the thing about Galaxy Quest. Star Trek was in a lull.
Yep.
It was a perfect time, and honestly, they just fucking hit all the marks, that movie, of course.
Yep.
So it came out at a time where it was refreshing. But the Orville, like, since it came out, Star Trek's actually out and good. Like, really fucking good.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Seth MacFarlane, because this is what he wanted the Orville to be to begin with, was a serious Star Trek-esque type TV series, and I just can't give a crap. I'm watching it, I'm like, you know what?
It's funny because I'm more likely to give a crap because I saw clips of this comedy. I've seen some clips. I've seen clips of comedy. I'm like, oh, fuck that. I would not watch that series. But then again, we all know my comedy is...
Yeah, you're pretty
And
strict
then-
on it.
Well, it's strict. It's just that I'd rather have comedy in the midst of something more serious rather than just comedy.
Yeah.
And I've seen some serious ones. The serious ones seem much more interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm watching it and I'm like, man, I really wish this wasn't a serious show now, because I miss the comedy, because the comedy was good in the first season, and I'm like, I get that he's trying to be a more serious TV show, but Star Trek just does it so much better, and you can't compete.
If Star Trek wasn't out and doing great, in my opinion, it'd be better.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, okay. I'm gonna try to finish it out to give a full rating on it and everything, because I mean it's not bad. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just I kind of find it hard to take it serious, in my opinion.
When you're fully serious, you're becoming discount Star Trek.
Yeah, and that's
But
pretty much
Star
kind of
Trek
what it
is serious first, comedy second.
Yes.
That's what Strange New World was.
Yeah.
Like the pirate episode was probably their funniest episode.
Yeah.
And the jokes were it's a little heavy on the jokes at some points in that, but enjoyable.
Yeah. See, Mose, I've heard that the ending is really good because this could be possibly the end of the series.
Yeah.
But I'm just
like we came back to that thing. Like I feel like it's outlived its spot.
Yeah.
That'd be something like, again, it's easy to come out with a quasi parody of something when whatever it is isn't out there doing good stuff.
Yeah. I'm just like, I could watch everything else, but there's not really much out there right now to watch. We're in a lull. The only thing that like House of the Dragons, Game of Thrones House of the Dragons starts tonight, and I'll start watching that, but I don't have high hopes for it because fucking Game of Thrones. Wow. But I'll give it a shot.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah. That last season. Last few episodes.
What happens when you get past what the author has written, have to go make your own shit up.
Yep. So I'll give it a chance. I mean, they're not putting out the entire series at once. They're doing an episode at a time, so it's okay, and I can get through it.
I actually prefer that because it means that I can keep up with it. Because otherwise, I mean, you end up like they released all of Stranger Things the first half. I'm like, there's no way I can watch all of that at once and just don't have fucking time. Come on, oh Christ, what are you doing? And it's mental. Like, if it all comes out, you're like, well, fuck, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Or if one comes out at a time, like, I can keep up with one a week. Yeah.
Yeah. You can set it up. All right, it's Thursday. Time to watch XYZ.
Yeah, like just sit there with Banyan when I get home. Like, all right, Banyan, let's watch She-Hulk because it's dinner time.
Yeah, because like by Thursdays, it's She-Hulk now, Harley on HBO Max, and Primal on HBO Max. So I mean, that's where I'm at with that. But
I forget that HBO Max has all the DC stuff.
Yeah.
I forget me. I don't care.
The other thing that I watched, and it was kind of silly, was the I Am Groot show. Which is just,
I heard it was funny and fun and silly, but I just don't have the time for that shit.
They're 5-minute episodes. You could watch the entire episode, all the episodes in like 30 minutes, if that. And I mean, it's just okay, I would have preferred a Groot cartoon series with, whatever, but I get it. This is kind of where they're going with shorts, because they did that with Baymax.
Well, it's like those, did they do that with with R2 too? Didn't they do little droid shorts for Star Wars?
Yeah, they did. I mean, it's okay. I mean, nothing wrong with it. I'm just like, okay, there's 30 minutes of my day, and I've watched the entire series.
It's new content. It's all good.
Yeah.
I think there's stuff I was thinking.
But other than that, there's not really a lot of stuff coming out anytime soon that I'm just really looking forward to watching.
Andor?
Andor's coming out. I think that's about the next.
And I hope they wait until She-Hulk is done. They need to realize that in order for maximum desire to watch all this stuff, they need to make sure they don't put two out at the same time.
Correct.
You can't support that anymore.
Now, have one lead into the other, which is okay.
Maybe give a week or two off between hand. Oh yeah, it says Marvel's Gaiman's Sandman came out on Netflix, but I haven't watched it. I think you already reviewed that.
I've watched it twice, and I've already reviewed it. It's a 0 for me. I mean, that's...
So, apparently I need to find a way to watch Prey.
I can get you a way to watch Prey as long as you do it on a laptop.
I don't have a laptop I can watch on.
Yeah, because Hulu has an issue where you can't watch it on TVs.
Oh, I mean, if you mean a computer, not just a laptop, there are other types of computers out there, sir?
Well, the thing is it registers like PCs as a TV type thing. So I don't know. I'll test that out.
Wow. So
yeah, Hulu.
That Hulu can go fuck itself.
Yeah, they have like some weird.
Don't
coding.
need to watch it that much. They can go fuck themselves. No,
I don't know if a computer works, but I know a smart TV does not work.
Well, I wouldn't watch a smart TV. I would watch it on a computer.
We may have to test that out so you can watch it. Because yes, I did watch Prey and I liked it.
I've heard only good things.
Yeah.
I've heard. Now, granted, the guy he's a artist for BattleTech and other things that he really loves Predator, and he actually thinks Predator 2 is the second best Predator movie. Which I'm like, all right, more power to you, sir. I feel like it's underrated. Wouldn't call it second best, but he loves it like those. So I'm like, that's cool.
I thought it was really cool, and I also thought it was extremely fucking cool that they recorded it all in Comanche also.
Yeah.
And I thought that was legit cool.
Kathleen says laptops and other devices work. Smart TVs do not.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it, even if I did TV, it'd be through my Amazon Fire, but I'm not going to put it through that because it's not my login.
So.
It's like how I have HBO Max. It's not my login, so it's only on my computer.
Yeah. So I'll probably get you that then. Because that's...
Yeah, because, yes, want to watch that. I still ain't seen Dune. I haven't seen Dune. Just, it's easier to get time one at a time for an episode here or there or something to get enough time to watch a whole fucking movie.
Yeah, 3-hour movie for Dune is kind of a thing.
So no streaming helps that a lot. And I do not know when I will start streaming again. Maybe next week. Maybe sometime this week. I don't fucking know. Just need the free time to have time for myself.
But what else? I think that's about it.
Yeah, and that's good because it's about time.
It is about time. Dang, we actually kind of got that just about right. Guys, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you listening.
Thanks.
Legionnaires, we always miss John. John's the best John.
Am I?
You are the best John. Who can we send y'all off to?
Ricky's not a ferret.
Ricky's not a ferret's going to be doing some Valorant. I have no clue what that is.
It's FPS.
Gotcha.
Be nice to Ricky. He also likes to play Malifaux.
All right, so guys, we're going to send you off to Ricky. He's not a ferret.
He totally is a ferret. He's totally a ferret.
So yeah, make sure you
tell him that.
Tell him that he is a ferret.
More than Dice said so.
More than Dice said, he is a ferret. So, guys, please take care of yourself. Please watch after each other. If you see something going wrong, say something, do something. If you are afraid to, find somebody that will, because I'm sure there will be somebody that will do.
What it takes for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing.
Correct. So, for More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
Good night.
Good night.
Make sure you tell him he's a ferret.
Totally a ferret.
He's a ferret. Say, totally, you're a ferret. Totally a ferret. 100% totally a ferret.
100% ferret.